It was my worst trip ever. After passing all the exams at college, I decided to make a surprise to my then girlfriend Kathy, and she was excited because I wanted to take her to Las Vegas for the weekends. We decided to go there by car, as it would take us only 5 hours to get there. It was our first trip together, and I had never thought about the problems that we could face. In the morning, I picked her up in the dorm, and we started off. Kathy acted like my navigator. She always told me where to go and go straight or turn left or right. And even though I knew the road perfectly, I didn't show it to her, and I pretended to follow her directions. Soon after getting off, we got a flat tire, and I had to pull over, pull off the road, and to fix the tire. It took me about half an hour, and then we set it off again. In some time, we felt like being hungry and stopped at a roadside cafe. We left the car in a parking lot and walked in. I ordered chicken taco, French fries, and a Coke. And Kathy had today's special. The food wasn't tasty, but at least it was hot and fresh. Then we took a few sandwiches, paid the bill, tipped a waitress, and went out. As we were coming to my car, I realized that I had forgotten to lock it, and so it was. The car was broken into. The thief had stolen Kathy's wallet, my iPod, and worst of all, a pair of my favorite sneakers. In a depressed mood, we sat back into the car and drove off. On our way, I felt an intense pain in my stomach, and that was not only me. Kathy asked to stop the car as she was about to throw out. Her face was very pale, as if she was going to faint. Then, in some time, we understood that we were running out of the fuel, and unfortunately, there was no gas station around, and we had to wait for anyone for at least an hour. Then we saw a huge cargo truck that stopped, and the driver asked us what happened. He was very helpful and gave us some fuel to get to another gas station, to the nearest gas station, to fill up our tank. After refilling up our tank, Kathy lost her patience and started yelling at me, and she said it was my fault that her weekends were spoiled, and she could better go to her friend's birthday party. We got into the fight, blaming each other, but it was getting dark, and we agreed to stay for a night at a motel. The first one was fully booked, and then we went to find another motel. When we found it, the day of misfortunes hadn't been over. I bumped into someone's car in the parking lot, and even though there were only a few scratches, I left a $50 bill to my victim. Then we went into the motel where we knew that there was one double room left. We checked in, filled in the registration forms, and went to our room. The room was cold and full of smell of old carpets and smoke, cigarette smoke. But I didn't care about it. I just got extra blanket and pulled it over my head and fell asleep. The next morning we checked out and went home, and Kathy never ran me up again.